It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be back.
Online, SouthAsianDaily.com, the biggest South Asian media group. Why Media?
Hello everyone, my name is Yudhit Jaswal. I'm the group editor at Y Media. On behalf of Y Media, we welcome you to Y Media Political Sensex, Ontario Municipal Elections 2022. The date for as far as Ontario Municipal Elections is October the 24th, and of course we have advanced polling dates as well for your convenience. Y Media, we always try to engage for any elections, whether the federal elections, provincial elections, and now we are having the municipal elections. So Y Media is organizing once again the debates. And today we have candidates from the City of Toronto. So Y Media will be discussing what are the issues, what are the challenges that the City of Toronto is facing. Before I introduce the candidates, I must tell you that yes, as far as the City of Toronto is concerned, yes, we all discuss so many issues. Why do we pay property taxes? Where these services are allocated? I think we all must engage ourselves, be an informed citizen, and definitely cast our vote for. It's very important for a very vibrant democracy. So I'd like to welcome all the candidates on behalf of Y Media. I'd like to welcome you all. Hello, sir. How are you? Hello, ma'am. How are you? And we have 6 candidates here in the studio, and we have 1 candidate who's joined us virtually. We did send emails to all the candidates, those who did confirm, so they're here. And I know a couple of them didn't confirm, but they're here. As long as they're here before the debate, we will welcome them. And just in case anybody who sees these debates, they missed out on their email, we'll still maybe we'll create a batch later on, and we'll welcome them as well. So Walter, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Subhash, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Dave, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Steve, welcome.
Thank you very much for having me.
Welcome, Adam.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, Pierre, welcome.
Thanks for having me. It is an honor to serve.
Welcome. And we also have Donna with us. Donna, how are you? Can you hear me?
I can certainly hear you, and thank you so very much for having me on this great debate.
You are very welcome. And at this point, for our viewers' benefit and also for all the candidates, I'd like to explain the format of the debate. It's pretty simple. You all get 1 minute for your opening remarks, and then it's an open debate session in which I will bring in a topic, I'll bring in a question, you all get to answer that. We're not giving you a fixed time limit because we want to have a very open discussion, but try to restrict your answers any less than 1 minute. If it's and then 30 seconds for the closing remarks. I hope you're clear on this one. Any questions at this point?
No questions.
No questions? Okay, that's good to know. So let's get on with our discussion. Y Media debate for the City of Brampton, Y Media Political Sensex, Ontario Municipal Elections, and all these discussions will be broadcasted on Rogers 857, Bell 828, TELUS 2418. If you have Ignite at home, 707. And if you have any of the boxes, you can watch on that as well. You can download Y Media TV. Yeah, that's our app. If you just want to watch all these debates on your phone, Y Media TV, that's our mobile app. You can watch there as well. And in case you want to watch everything on YouTube, Y Media Group. If you search Y Media Group, you will get it. And you can follow us, subscribe us on YouTube, Y Media Group. Facebook, yes, we are there on Y Media. And there are 2 channels which will be broadcasted. Channel Y, which is broadcasted in Punjabi, Hindi, Urdu, and English. A 24/7 all English channel, Y Plus, all these debates will be broadcasted there as well. So at this point, I'll give each one of you 1 minute. Pierre, why don't we start with you? 1 minute for you.
Sure. Sounds good. My name is Pierre Terrien, and I'm a retired authorized nuclear operator. My main platform is a strategy to control climate change. My reasoning is that CO2 can be removed from the biosphere for a price, and that price can be related to the carbon tax. The carbon tax can therefore fund CO2 removal. Humans can therefore control atmospheric CO2 concentration and hence global atmospheric temperature. My 142+R plan will allow humans to remove more CO2 than they discard into the biosphere, causing atmospheric CO2 concentration to reduce and come under human control, and with it, atmospheric temperature. 142+R means that for every ton of CO2 sources such as oil or gas discard into the biosphere, They shall pay to remove 2 tons plus the rebate, the existing rebate. The rebate is already in place in Canada, is set to increase, eliminating the cost on the poor. Legislation at the federal level
Thank
will
you,
establish...
Adam. Thank you so much. Thank you. Adam, go ahead.
Hi folks, my name's Adam Golding. I teach piano in Kensington Market. I'm also a software developer and have taught that and want to bring that to fix the bugs in the code that runs our city. Some basic platform points. We need free transit. We need to tax the vacancies aggressively. We have 26,000 vacancies and 10,000 homeless people. We did an exponential vacancy tax. That's 2%, 4%, 8% until it's too expensive to leave things empty. That applies to music venues too. Tax big businesses, fund the arts, and defund the police by 50%. I'm a co-founder of the Socialist Alliance. 3 of our candidates were actually arrested on the same day at Lamport 2 when the police violently invicted the encampment there, and protesters stood up because we had voted unanimously for a human rights approach in council. So that was a complete breakdown of our democracy, and we have an anti-authoritarian slate of candidates working against Team Tory, hashtag evict John Tory. Look me up at adamgolding.ca.
All right, Steve.
Hi. Thank you for having me. Steve Ewan with the Y, like Y Media, running for Councillor Ward 4. Pleasure to be here. We did some work with the federal government, and I've lived in the area for more than 30 plus years. I'm looking to change the vote. I believe that 2-year term for anybody who is running should change, and I'm looking for change, and I think that's important to have new blood. More importantly, I'm actually focusing on 30 and under who did not vote. A lot of youth are there today who do not vote, and I like to encourage democracy, and for more voting in Ward 4, please vote Steve Ewan. You can reach me at www.ca, steveewan.ca. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Hi, my name is Dev Narang. I'm an activist, a writer, a columnist for newspapers and television channels, and I'm an engineer who has been running various companies worldwide for the last 30 years, and in fact in 2012 was selected as one of the top 75 immigrants to Canada. I'm running because I think that for me to work with the people beyond my activism, we need to bring true change in Etobicoke North Ward 1. Which is one of the poorest neighborhoods of Toronto, which is one of the neighborhoods where the visible minority, the so-called visible minority, has more than 76% population, and yet we have never ever elected anyone from amongst us as a leader. I'm also running because the ward is extremely neglected. We have bad infrastructure. I want to ensure that the infrastructure is well maintained, that the people are served, and that's why I give my cell number on the card. So you have a problem, you can contact me directly. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes. My name is Subhas Chand. I have a background of business management professor, a credit professional, an accountant, and I'm a blood donor champion. I'm deeply involved with the community, and my agenda is to have the youth development in Etobicoke North, because Etobicoke North is the riding providing the highest muscle power workforce. But still, unfortunately, poverty level is highest, and there is highest level of dropouts from the school. People are struggling to pay their utility bills, rents, mortgage, and other thing is that it has strategic location, but we don't have any particular business plan. The riding has a lot of potential. I will bring a vision of a professor and accountability of a accountant and credit professional. So I will not let the bleeding of your money.
Thank you very much. Bye. Walter.
Thank you very much. I just want to express gratitude to the organizers, my fellow candidates here, and explain to you, my name is Walter. I'm Walter Alvarez, running for Ward 16. And I'm running because I want to give back to this great city that helped me once upon a time when I was a refugee claimant, homeless and hungry on the streets of Toronto. And from that, due to the compassion of this great city, you lifted me up to be currently a doctoral candidate, a federal civil servant, a volunteer in various capacity. But most importantly, I want to put my name forward because I know that in my ward, most of the population have been neglected. 55% of the people are renters, a lot of immigrants, and we don't even have a constituency office. I need to change that. I want to change that, and I want to be your voice so that we're truly represented. So if you're in Ward 16, if you ever felt neglected, perhaps because you have an accent like I do, or you're an immigrant like I am, or for any other reason. I want to represent you. I want to be your voice. Thanks.
Thank you. Donna, 1 minute for you.
Thank you. Basically, a little bit about myself is I was in the secretarial field and then switched over to renovations. And currently, I'm the president of our condo building at Woodbine and Danforth. As a resident of Beaches, East York for over 35 years, I have very strong feelings about this wonderful community and what we can do to even make it better. I'm very happy to say that I've volunteered with the Royal Canadian Legion's Youth and Track and Field program. And also, just to let you know, they have another wonderful program through Youth Ed. It's all volunteer driven, and it's something to look into for your children. My platforms include a wide variety of topics like better protection, waste to energy, better assistance programs for seniors, a more streamlined system for youth employment, a better commute system. We really have to end. Thank you.
Donna, thank you so much. So let's get into our discussion. My first question is, I want to hear the vision. What is your vision? And I'm sure each one of you, when you thought that you will be running as a candidate, you could figure out what is your vision for the city of Toronto. So that's my first question. Anybody who wants to go first, you can raise your hand. Oh, Walter, okay, go ahead. Yeah, coming to you. Walter, go ahead. What is, my question once again, I'll still repeat that. What is your vision for the city of Toronto? And I'll also like to tell you that we have all these candidates from the city of Toronto here who are doing their discussion. Yeah, what's your vision for the city of Toronto? Walter.
My vision is for a city that is inclusive of everyone, and a city whereby everyone is considered an equal partner, not because someone is less fortunate, such as homeless people. We're going to forget about them and neglect them. They're part of Toronto, just like developers are. Immigrants, people that are racialized and that they feel sometimes like they're targeted because of their race. My vision, in short, is one of inclusivity, one that represents the inclusive nature of this city, and we need to bring that to council. Thank you.
Adam.
Yeah, I mean, in a slogan, we have to fund basic needs and defund the control freaks. We're spending ridiculous amounts of money on things like encampment evictions and private security in parks when that money could be going directly towards the problem of housing people. And we see that problem over and over again. And they say there isn't enough money, but they're spending it out the yin-yang on being controlling.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll come to you, Peter.
Yep.
My vision is that climate change is controlled and handed up to the federal level, and that the city should have to do nothing about this. I also believe that in our society, in Ontario, in all of Ontario, conservative ideology has ruined the fabric of our society. Cutting taxes by downloading provincial costs onto municipalities has resulted in roads that are a shambles. 10,000 homeless live on our streets. Conservative populism is the enemy of our society. Politicians have little or no vision to solve our problems, and so I am here to solve our problems. That's what leaders do. There is no problem we can't solve by simple redirection of resources in our society. Vote for me for cheap electricity, to control climate change, and to restore the fabric of our society. Thanks.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, my first vision is, of course, to ensure that the United Colors of Toronto exist not just in letter, but also in spirit all over the city. And what I mean by that is that there is a lot of hate growing in the society that needs to be toned down. And in the upcoming elections, whether it is federal or whether it is provincial, what we foresee is that hate is going to be used to divide communities. I want to be a voice in the council which works to ensure that we have a better city, we have a more moderate city. Number one. Number two, I look at the futuristic Toronto, which is not based on the vision of myopic politicians focused on road-based transit. I want to work towards ensuring that we have a strong rail-based transit which ensures that the city is there for all. And last but not the least, I'd like to work towards a transit which is, if possible, free for all, or at least at $1 maximum, which is actually going to ensure that our economy benefits a lot.
All right, Donna. Donna?
Yes, thank you. I want to get this city moving. Every day I go outside on the Danforth and we're stuck in traffic. So what we need to do is an analysis of the uh, roads and the TTC to get people moving better. Also, we need basically a professional development platform, cleaner roads, and more events celebrating diversity in this community. And with regular research and analysis to understand these needs, uh, that will help us keep up on top of the topics. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anyone else wants to go? Or, yeah, go ahead.
I'll go last.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, my vision is, first thing is that child care, so that parents can focus on their career if child care is available immediately. And then we need the youth development, so that we can bring our generations in a manner they becomes the responsible citizen. It's because they are the future of our nation. Next thing, I want that safer community and the better infrastructure. If we have better infrastructures like road, proper traffic signals, proper street lighting, bike lanes, the auto accidents will be reduced and theft will be reduced, so that auto premium will be lowered, so that our citizens will have more dollars in their pocket and they can spend that money for the development of their children. Our children are the future of our nation. I want to make them very responsible citizens, so that we will be the #1 in the world.
All right, Steve.
Bonjour, hello, assalamu alaikum, ni hao. We have very many cultures, and I'm very proud of Toronto. My vision is to see our youth grow and be the best people in Toronto. I live in Parkdale, High Park, Warren Park. My area is the Junction, Roncesvalles, South Kingsway, Humber River. This is my area, but the rest of the Toronto and the GTA is very important to me. And to have our youth look in the right direction, to be educated, and to have respect for all others in the community is my vision, to make Toronto #1, like our baseball team. Unfortunately, they lost, but our hockey team, and everybody who lives in Toronto and who live outside of the GTA, using their best practices for cities, what's best for us and what's best for everyone. Respect. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. At this point, we move to our next topic, which is crime. We've heard so many break-ins, carjackings, shootings, so many other things that we hear about crime. We're not here to discuss, yeah, I'll come to you. We're not here to discuss what is obvious. We all know that. You can still highlight the challenges that we face. But as much as we'll be discussing the challenges, but I also want to hear some solutions, what you're offering for the city of Toronto. Yeah, you raised your hand first, I guess. Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to say a friend of mine, Andrew, was unfortunately killed in the line of duty, and I want to just pay some respect to him and the family. I was at the funeral, and I truly respect the Toronto Police Force, and I think we've just had some serious incidents that happened. Wonderful police force. I think if we use the community to work closer with the police force, engaging both enforcement authority and the regular people, including especially our youth, I think there will be a better understanding and respect. We need the police, and they're there for a reason.
All right, Dave.
I think controlling crime is very important, and for that I would like to, I think working in GTA is two together. So what I mean by that is that, you know, Toronto police working separately, the Peel police working separately is not going to work, especially for a menace like car theft and related crimes. So I would like to work towards ensuring and at least proposing in the council that all the GTA communities work together to make a task force focusing on this area, because these people are coming from different parts of the area and then going to another part and doing these carjacking. So definitely we need to show a strong face, and which is what has been lacking in this in the last 1 year that we've seen the car theft to balloon into such a big issue. So I would like to definitely show a strong face of the city towards ensuring that the crime is controlled, and especially what we are facing right now.
Yeah, I think the different police forces, whether it's Peel Region Police or York Regional, Halton, or Toronto Police Force. I think they already work in coordination. Maybe you're suggesting that, yes, they work more closely.
There has to be a task force made.
Okay.
What I propose is
A GTA-wide
that they are working in isolation. I looked at the data, and it's very important that we have a specific task force made, which is focusing on all the areas so that they can communicate better with each other and show any data, any information which comes from Milton is shared directly with the people from the Peel region and vice versa and so on.
Right away. Maybe you want to include OPP as well.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Good session. Donna?
Yes, thank you for that. We definitely need better protection in our area. I mean, as of September 15th, we've had 25 carjackings, and as of October 3rd, there's been 3 more. So it's no doubt an issue that we have to really focus on. And one of the solutions I'm coming up with is having satellite police stations located where the problem areas are or the dense areas are, where people can go to the police and they can get it resolved fairly quickly. I feel this is really important, along with engaging our youth. That's the future of Toronto. Thank you.
Okay. Adam?
Yeah, I want to say I understand this from both sides. I have an uncle who was shot in the line of duty, Neil Hurtubise, but I also have a relative who's currently incarcerated. I've had a lot of occasion to think about crime. And I'm going to give you one example from Glover's homelessness work group, because it's related to the NIMBYs. It was shown in this data that the stigma where we think shelter beds means crime is only true if NIMBYism is also true, because it pushes all the shelter beds into a small minority of the neighborhoods, and that causes the spike in crime only after you get past a certain density of shelter beds and services. So you need to decentralize shelter beds and services all throughout the city. We have to defund the police by 50%. It's unfeminist to defund the police by 100%, but it's not very anarchist to not defund them by 50% at this rate, given how much they're wasting money on authoritarianism. We have to inject a lot of radical democracy into the police force and into civilian oversight over the police budget. We need to have sort of referenda on the budget, potentially even every month. We need to be able to basically put the pause button on the police as a people, and we have to make sure they focus on violent crime. That's the only thing that justifies their monopoly on guns.
All right. Yeah, Walter.
Thank you very much. So first of all, I want to start by stating that I have great respect for the brave women and men in uniform. They risk their lives to protect us. Now, what I have issue with is powerful politicians using the police force as an oppressive force, for example, against the homeless. What we need to do is to detask the police, free them up from being oppressors, which is not their fault. They're receiving orders from the top, and instead liberate those resources so that they can do what they do best, is protect us and serve us. In a situation of life, where life is threatened, that's where they need to act. And we need to address the causes of crime with those freed up resources. We need to tend to our youth at risk. And I want to work closely with school trustees so that we, for example, we don't rush to expel students. Rather, we should give them guidance and help them so that they don't choose a life of crime. Look at me, I was homeless and poor on the streets, and I'm a doctoral candidate. With a little bit of opportunity, every community can shine, and that includes every child of every color. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
I want to add one more thing about this thing. You know, there have been a lot of slogans being raised about defunding the police, and I think the policing is an important part of running the city, and that needs to be strengthened. There's no doubt about it. There are definitely parts of the policing which is relic of the past, like the Mounties and so on. They can be removed. There has to be more empathy brought in the police force, more training brought in the police force towards dealing with people who have pain. That needs to be enforced. But we should not talk about defunding the police. We should be actually ensuring that the police force is strengthened to ensure that the criminals know their place, number one. Number two, the other thing I see missing, you know, unfortunately I've seen it happening as an activist also, is that when the police force also does its work, sometimes our justice system is weak, or is rather far too liberal at times. Sometimes, yes, with certain people it is, with people of color, it becomes tough, but sometimes it is far too liberal, and the criminals go away. That should also be controlled. So, you know, so these are the issues that we definitely need to look at. And as a councilman, I would love to focus on these areas.
All right. Thank you.
Can I make a point?
I disagree.
Okay.
I'd like to say that I disagree, and that decriminalization of drugs will result in defunding of the police. The war on drugs is a war on our own people. We have to stop this war, and we must abandon this crusade and give people the choice of what to do. Illegal drugs were the mob's only enduring success in our society, but it is now mostly gangs funded by illegal drugs to a large extent. We are now funding an illegal drug cartel system in our society that's killing our youth. Many of the fentanyl victims just wanted to rebel a little and could have used a safe place to stay and get high if they wanted to. Stop the gangs and their guns and their warfare by decriminalizing all drugs. I intend to advocate this to the Prime Minister. We must decriminalize all drugs. It will allow the police to operate in a world without all these drug-related crimes and allow them to get on with better issues, such as serving the public instead of always having to protect the public. I want to finish here. It serves a part of the basis of my reasoning for resensitizing the value of a human life in the minds of our police officers. The killing of Mr. Yadam was a glaring example of the lack of the respect for human life in our society. I want this changed, and training is the answer. Thanks.
All right, I'll come to you, Steve. Donna, she's been patiently waiting. Yeah, Donna, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to make a point about the numbers of homeless in the city of Toronto. When you go to the city's website, you know, they relay that there's 6,800 homeless in Toronto. Then you go to the Fred Victor website, they say that there's 10,000 people homeless in Toronto. And then you go to the Homeless Hub, and they're saying there's 80,000 people that are homeless in Toronto. So I think what we need to do is we need to find out what those numbers are. We need to find out who is mentally challenged and who just needs a hand up, and get them engaged into a home. I'm sure there's lots of rentals in the city of Toronto that we could subsidize to give these people a home, to make them feel great about themselves, to move forward with their life.
We need to make sure that we separate the issue of crime from homelessness. The homelessness are not a source of crime. That is a complete fallacy. We're talking about crime here, and the way to reduce it is to eliminate illegal drugs in our society.
All right, yeah, go ahead, Steve.
I agree with Pierre, and decriminalizing is important only for the fact that you take out the profit from people with crime. And more importantly, our youth and the people who are being harmed by this action is completely wrong. And most of the people who are just simple possession shouldn't be put in jail, but more importantly, should be helped by our social network and our health system.
Yeah.
And I strongly believe in that, and that can only come with change. And how come it hasn't changed with all the incumbent and the status quo?
Yeah, I think we've got to wrap up with this topic. Anybody who didn't get a chance at all, you didn't get a chance at all. Yeah, 30 seconds, please.
Okay, so to create the safer neighborhood, we need to stop the bleeding of the resources and allocation of the resources at the place of need, at the proper place, I mean to say. Like you will see, our police officers are giving the duty on the construction sites. That duty can be given by the security persons. So those officers should be available when there is an incident in the area. They can stop the theft for the property, or they can stop the crime. So another thing is that we have another department, we say social department. What they do? Their main role is to break the house. If there is any argument in the family member, any family member or any neighbor make a police call, they simply come and break the house. So we should keep their employment, not on the basis of that how many houses you break, rather on the basis of that how many houses you integrate.
All right, thank you very much. At this point, we have to quickly go to our next topic now. And our next topic is transit. I know it's very important. How do we make sure, yes, the transit services are on, the TTCs and the streetcars, the subway system. There's lots to discuss. Yeah, Adam, you want to go first? Go.
Yeah. What is the question?
Transit. Transit. The topic is transit. I want to hear your ideas. Is it doing well or not? What are the challenges we face? What are the solutions for transit? That's the topic, yeah.
I wanted to jump in at the outset to suggest a framing. In the UK, they always use this phrase, free at the point of use, and we don't use that phrase here. We just say free. It's just like in the other protests when they say freedom, they don't know if they mean positive or negative liberty. We have to say free at the point of use, so we're clarifying what we're saying here. Transit's not free, but it should be free at the point of use. Why? Because of climate change, which, if you've noticed, is one of our most concerning problems. And it would reduce congestion on the streets at the same time. So transit must be free. It's too expensive to charge for transit at the point of use. What's expensive is where you're charging for it. You're charging the same amount, but you're charging it in a very expensive place.
Agreed.
My answer is really simple, and if you go to my website, it basically says children under 16 free, seniors over 65 free. Keep it simple, $3 one trip, $5 round trip. Encourage it, make it cheaper, and have it cross-subsidized by the province. And if we do that, more people will use transit, and there will be less cars, traffic, and congestion in the city. And to augment and supplement all of that, if you bring in a bigger car or cars into the city, which is causing more congestion and traffic, we do a toll on those cars when they come in and out. And we use that money for affordable housing and the homeless, and treatment for addiction.
Yeah, all right, go ahead.
I think the biggest problem with transit in Toronto and in Canada, and specifically in Toronto, is the myopic vision of the politicians. 1954, we started with our first transit line, and yet we have 4 lines and 2 under construction, 1 for the last 25 years. If you compare that to the better cities, I've lived in 5 countries, traveled to more than 40 countries. One of the characteristic of good cities is that they have a strong rail-based transit. Beijing 36 lines, Tokyo 26 lines, New York 25 lines, London 25 lines. Even New Delhi, which started construction after 2012 lines in New Delhi, in India, with 383 square kilometers covered. Here, we are basing on road-based transit, which is never a solution. It is only going to lead to a Toronto, which is going to be an absolute worst city to live in another 20 years. If there is a solution for the city, for the growth of people, and if we actually talk about equity and equality, we need to build a strong rail-based transit. That is the only way for the future for
Rail-based overground or underground?
Both.
Okay.
You don't look at the money. In fact, you have, see, the characteristic of a good city, and when I say city, I'm not talking about Toronto itself, but from GTA also. The characteristic of a good city is that you have a connectivity between 2 points, point A to point B, of less than 1 hour. In Toronto itself, you're talking about 1 hour, 45 minutes, sometimes 2.5 hours. If anybody wants to go from Etobicoke North to Scarborough East, you're talking about 2.5 hours, whatever way you use. That needs to be.
I vote for this man to run the TTC, actually.
I would love to ensure.
I think he would be great, honestly.
30 years from now, our children are going to live in a city, they will be crawling in the city, and it'll take them 6 hours to go from one place to another. That needs to change now. And the rail-based transit, and also another thing it is going to ensure is it is going to 100% ensure that there is more jobs, more jobs. It will ensure that there is going to be more production, more productivity for the people. So I definitely want to go for, my vision is 20 subway lines, round connectivity of Toronto, not just Toronto, Milton, Mississauga, Brampton, everywhere in the next 20 years.
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, okay, yes, go ahead.
So I'm here to suggest a practical way to achieve these objectives. Adam Golding is entirely correct in that transit fees are a tax on the poor. Now, carbon taxes are a tax on the rich. So I say load it up. Eliminate all transit fees within 5 years and place the costs of transit operations for all our municipalities on the carbon tax. We need to load it up.
All right, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so here we are in the debate for the city elections, not for the federal, not for the provincial. Transit, like so many metro lines, railway lines, that do not come under the city. City can't do
no, sir, it
Please
does.
let me speak.
No,
let me speak. When you will get your turn, you can speak.
No, that's okay. But you're saying wrong. That's why.
No, please try to control yourself.
He's got to finish.
Yeah,
Let him finish.
Sure. It's because we need to understand we are running for a councillor or a mayor. So what are the city have the resources? We need to focus on those. What we can do with that. Otherwise, selection of the words in front of the audience is not going to give any solution. We need to find what are the reasons. So first thing, let I tell you, yes, we need the better transit. So
Yep.
in that case, first we need to ensure the security, safety of our TTC drivers. You will see that's in the hand of the city. You will see how many times the TTC drivers are encountering the problems with the passengers. Another thing is that we need timely service. We need the better connectivity. Like suppose
Yeah.
I'm running for the Ward 1, Etobicoke North. We are bordering with 3 another cities, Brampton, Vaughan, Mississauga. We want the transit should be connected to all these 3 cities. So this is in the capacity of councillor and the city council, we can achieve that. I won't like to speak anything which is not at the level of the city or in the capacity of the councillor. That's all. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you want to do?
Yeah, I think the first thing a person should look at then as if he's standing for council is to look at the budget itself. The city budget and all the plans which Tory and even Gil Pedaloza and everybody is talking about is focusing on transit. Transit is one of the most important parts of the city budget. It is also, there are 2 major committees of the city which the city councillors handle. One is the policing, the other is transit, for which and in fact Michael Ford was I believe Michael Ford was he was a part of the policing, but TTC is one area where, oh yeah, this guy, Vincent Crisanti, who was the ex-councillor from our ward, he was a part of the TTC board from the council. So yes, the council is extremely involved in running the transit, and yes, what the province gives the budget. That is what I was coming to. My point was, Doug Ford has talked about a $2 billion money that he had in the budget. These kind of monies should be used for providing to city for building a better transit. But definitely we all know that the city is what controls the transit.
Yeah, and I will also like to quickly add to that. Yes, the federal government could provide the funding.
Correct.
That is fine, because sometimes cities, they do get shares from federal government, but at the end of the day, transit does come under the city. Yeah. So it's definitely a city thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Let I tell you, it's because as we went on the conversation, in 70 years, we are able to build only 4 transit lines. So in 4 years, what do you think? You will be able to build a network of the 20 transit lines? No. We need to accept the practical hardship, and we should go step by step. We should start from point 1 and let we move forward.
All right.
That's the agenda, not any hypothetical.
Yeah, Walter and then Pierre. Yeah, Walter.
Thank you. First, politicians tend to not open honestly to the constituents at times. So the first thing I want to tell you is that we have to ensure that things that are bad don't get worse. Right now, at the provincial level, there are rumors that Doug Ford wants to bring it, TTC, to provincial control. We need to vote progressive candidates that will oppose bringing TTC to provincial control, number 1. Number 2, we need to tend to excessive spending and waste. Case in point, the CEO of TTC, Google it, he makes more money than our Honorable Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. How is that even conceivable for a city corporation that run a deficit, and he makes more money than Justin Trudeau? We need to keep that under control and not reward an executive like that.
Thank you, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so I did
Can I
want to
just have a
conclude
moment?
that transit fees can be paid for by the carbon tax, but I'd like to bring up a couple of other issues, and one is that Toronto, it has to be recognized that we have one of the best transit systems in North America, but it's not good enough. And I think we need to get $100 billion of new federal funding to establish a set, as you say, of new subway lines, all underground, where people who are in Toronto can get to a subway line within a couple of 100 feet. Now, the other issue I wanted to address is intercity rail. We need to make it so that people can work in downtown Toronto and live in downtown London, Ontario. Intercity high-speed rail is required. And we've got to build a line that goes all the way from Quebec City all the way through to Windsor. And then we can build on that line with offshoots. But that needs to be the start.
Can I just make a comment about that?
Style intercity rail.
And that's what you're asking $100 billion for.
$100 billion for intercity rail, and we clearly need $100 billion to establish a subway system underground.
Okay.
On top of that, I think we need to deal with gridlock.
We got it. I'm going to come back to you. I think Donna has to say something, then I'm going to come back to you. Yeah, Donna, you please go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. I tend to disagree with a high-speed rail system, because my husband worked for the railroad for 39 years, and there's no level crossings, and it's critical to have a level crossing if you're going to do any type of high-speed trains. And furthermore, I think that you really have to
High-speed
do.
TGV rail will be separate. There will be no crossings. This is a new idea. There is a completely laid out path already to go from Quebec City through to Windsor. They're buying up property to do it. All we have to do is implement this. The old rail lines are completely inadequate.
All right, all right. Donna, you want to add something to that?
Yeah,
And
I
then we'll
just
come
want to
back.
say there is a third line that's going in just on my doorstep down here. So they've been working on that for transit to the east areas to help them.
All right, yeah. Dave.
Yeah, what I want to say is that we should have a vision of a rail-based transit covering the entire GTA and not just Toronto for the next 20 or 30 years. We're not talking about 4 years. As a councilman, I would like to work towards ensuring that we develop a vision for that.
Yeah.
Then only we can work towards it, number one. Number two, I totally agree that the transit has to be close to free for the people who are using it. That is why in my platform also I've talked about a $99 40 trip card or something, because we have to, the more you, it has been seen in European countries that if you make it free, more people use it and the economy benefits. So I would definitely like to work for that, but I would like to work with the provincial government and the federal government to ensure that we build a
Wish we had more time for this, but I'll quickly want to squeeze in Subhash and Walter. Yeah, Subhash, 10 seconds for you, and then Walter, 10 seconds. Then
First of all, let I tell you, it's because transit is not free in any European country. Yes, we need the transit, intercity transit, being in the capacity of the council for the Toronto and the surroundings, which I already told. We need the better connectivity with the surrounding cities. Yes, in that capacity.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it has already been made free in Norway and Denmark. You can Google it. In their major cities, it has already been made free.
They can do it. Why can't we?
Sorry?
Yeah, they can do it.
Many European cities are looking for it. And even Japan is looking at it. And you see, you can have cards for regular users. You know, like as I said, a $99 card for 40 trips. For people who are using it regularly, make it cheaper.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can have the cards, but not
If we make it free, then you save all the money from trying to collect all of the transit fees.
Exactly.
Right? So you can make it free and not have any administration of fees whatsoever.
We need to think about the resources also. Can you make the transit from today free? No, that's not possible. It's because we need a plan for that, and we need to go step by step. That's way. By talking in air, we can't do nothing for our people. Only we are misguiding them. So we need to be practical. We need to have a fair stepwise vision.
All right, let Walter.
Practical solutions.
Walter, go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that as a person that worked in government for 10 years, we need to first improve what we have before we develop any grandiose plans. We need to make sure that it works efficiently with what we have, that the bus stops are clean, that they're accessible for people in wheelchairs. That's where we start, and then we can develop grandiose plans, but we need to improve what we have. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's the plan.
Yeah, I love those ideas, very fresh ideas, good engaging discussion, very lively discussion that we had on the transit. Wish we had more time for this one, but we quickly got to move on to our next topic. And the next topic is integration. I doubt at the municipal level this topic is discussed much, but why I brought in this topic of integration? Because here are future leaders. Today it could be the councillors, tomorrow the mayor, then the MPs and the cabinet minister. Who knows, we could have a sitting prime minister here in our discussion. So integration for me... Integration for me is really important because we see populist statements being made right across the globe, divisive politics being played, identity politics being played right across the globe. So here I wanted to bring this topic regarding integration. You as the future leaders, how would you bring people together? How would you make sure that we focus on the common denominators and serve the community, whether people are struggling to put their food on the table, affordability, which will be our next topic, affordability, infrastructure that we spoke about, healthcare, education. How are we going to make sure that, yes, our focus stays on this one rather than any divisive politics, identity politics or anything out of that. Yeah, Adam, you raised your hand. Yeah, I'll come back to you.
So I thought at first you were talking about integration of levels of government, but you didn't mean cultural integration, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, well, so in that front, a lot of times people aren't happy with decisions, but not because of the decision. They're happy with it because it wasn't their decision. And people don't feel enough participation. We need radically more democracy. After student politics, I worked with the Pirate Party before the NDP, and I've been bringing that ideals to municipal government. We need to have polls all the time on things. We need to have local neighborhood votes on overriding city bylaws. I talked to a resident recently who was annoyed that the BIA could apparently override city bylaws, but the residents couldn't do so democratically. Just the business owners. So, we need radical democracy at all levels. And, voting, there's a thing called Condorcet's jury theorem that says if people are better than chance, you want more jurors and you can get more accuracy that way. So we will get better decisions actually by integrating more people in the decision-making process. And that produces cultural integration because people feel like they had a say in what happens.
Yeah, Dave.
I think integration starts with, any solution starts with understanding that there's a problem. There's an elephant in the room nobody wants to talk about, and that is racism, which exists in the city. Our city is not perfect. My campaign is focused totally on door-to-door knocking. I have actually physically knocked more than 24,000 houses. And in many of the houses, I was shown middle finger, I was thrown out without even speaking a word, just on the basis of my color. That is not accepted. That is not acceptable for a city like Toronto. And also for a constituency like Etobicoke North with 78% visible minority population. So yes, we need to understand the population, the problem, that there is a certain problem which exists and it requires a solution. And it cannot be discussed, if that solution cannot be got by words. Council, the city officials need to work towards it. I want to just mention one incident. I knocked the door on a Martin Grove property. It's an affordable housing house. There was this black Somali lady who actually, when she saw me and she heard me, she actually started crying, literally started crying. And the reason she said is, 2 years back, her son was shot dead in the parking lot of that apartment building. And for the last 2 years, not even a single policeman, forget the policeman, not even a single official, no politician, nobody ever came to her door to knock and to tell her to feel her pain. Whatever be the problem that son did, but the mothers and the daughters and the family should not suffer. I would like to ensure that the city council takes a strong step towards ensuring that everybody who has pain gets treated properly, and that we show empathy towards everyone, and that we have strong programs running in the community to enable that we actually focus on integrating people, especially the people who have problems of languages or of cultures. They need to realize and accept, and everybody needs to accept that that when we take the oath in favor of Canada, we are all equal and must be treated as one.
Yeah, anybody else wants to jump in? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yes, Pierre Terrien here. I'd like to define the source of division in our society. I would like to define exactly why we're having so much trouble integrating, and it's populism. Populism in our society is something I feel I have to speak out about this. Populism is a political approach that strives to appeal to ordinary people who feel that their concerns are disregarded by established elite groups. This populism, this conservative populism in our society leads directly to dictatorships. This populism is how we decided to amalgamate this city. Our dictating Premier of Ontario told Toronto, you will amalgamate. This is the source of divisiveness in our society, is populism. Conservative populism is the enemy of our society. Doug Ford specifically says he's fighting for the little guy. This is a fallacy in our society.
Mind you, this is municipal politics that we're talking.
Yeah.
Go ahead, please. 30 seconds, please.
Yes.
It affects municipal policies
Yeah, you're
directly
right.
because he's dictating to the municipalities how they will be operated. This is wrong.
He's the biggest donor.
But that was challenged in court, and you know.
Oh, of course, he gets to win. He gets to dictate. however he pleases. He's elected on a populist platform to dictate to the people. This is wrong in our society. We must stop this populism. It is the enemy of Canadian society.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. So my concern is very practical. I'm not a theoretical person. I raised my 3 children in the community. I did not come from a family of wealth, so I know everything. We need to identify what are the causes which creates difficult integration of the people. First thing is that we need a proper child care to every child immediately, standardized, subsidized, not only on the basis of the income. The children for the rich, poor, middle class family should play together in the child care. They should become friends. They should help each other in getting the employment and providing the resources. Later, we need the youth development. We need to provide the facilities to all so that we will have the healthy mind and healthy education.
Thank you.
So these are the things we need.
Thank you. Donna, quick 20 seconds, Donna.
Yes, thank you very much for letting me speak about this. So, the integration, what does that mean? I see in my ward where people have issues, they need to reach out to different areas and they're not getting voices heard, basically. I also see people that are working in our building, in our area, and they come from different countries, yet they have to wait long periods of time to even get their Canadian status in Canadian citizenship. So I think what we have to do is we have to look at the federal government too to fast track some of these citizenship requests and get them, focusing on their life here and making it better. So I think overall, it's working federal and local government.
All right. We wish we had more time, but
Yes, my concern is that what the federal government, what the provincial government should start or not, what a councillor should start.
all right.
So that's the thing.
Thank you so much. And at this point, we'll give 30 seconds to each one of you for your closing remarks. We'll go. Yeah, Donna, we'll start with you. Donna.
Thank you very much. So my platform is very simple. Our voices weren't being heard in Ward 19, and I want to listen, act, and communicate to the Ward 19. The people who live in this board make decisions on what they see fit for the board, and when we work together, all the change will be possible. I am here for you, to work with you, and let's join hands and make our for everyone to do. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Donna. Thank you so much. Yeah, Walter, 30 seconds for you.
Thank you very much. I just want to speak directly to the people of Ward 16. I want to let you know that I want to serve you with honor and compassion. I have what it takes. I have the academic experience, the academic credentials, civil servants experience, volunteer experience, but most importantly, I want you to know that when I decided to run, I did not ask myself what Toronto could do for me, but what I could do for you. And I want to serve you with honor and compassion. Thank you.
Thank you, Subhash.
I, Subhash Chand, the councillor candidate from Etobicoke North, promise my residents that I have a vision of professor, so I will develop your generations. I have accountability of accountant and credit professional. I will share your hard earnings and will stop the bleeding of your money, and I will not be the parasite on the taxpayers' money. So give me vote, I will give the development to your generations. Thank you.
Thank you. Dave.
Hi, I'm just an ordinary resident of the ward, ready to serve. My campaign is an honest campaign with less than $5,000 being spent on the entire campaign, as against the vulgar display of wealth which you have seen from the other candidates. This 3-cent card is what I started with, and my total campaign is focused on going door to door, knocking door to door, and I will continue to serve the people. Whether I win or not win, you will always see me working for the people in times to come. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve?
Hi, Steve Ewan, Ward 4. All my candidates are here, and I think the realization is the incumbents have all been around for almost 2 terms or longer. And I think it's time for a change, and only you can action that if you care. A lot of the people who are in power right now are very privileged, and feel that they don't even have to say their name, they're going to get voted for. And only you can be the person who can make that change. We need our youth, we need democracy, and if you really want change and you want to complain like all of us like to complain, you need to get out there and vote. Steve Ewan, Ward 4. Thank you.
Thank you. Adam.
Thanks. I mentioned defunding control freaks in my overview vision, and we talked about decriminalizing drugs earlier. I'm sure you all know what this smells like, but you don't know what it means in terms of economics. This represents artificial scarcity, which is the technical term for being control freak, except control freak as a psychology is even broader. Police can be control freaks without artificial scarcity, but the same thing is happening with housing. We are drying up the supply of housing in order to extort the entire population to make developers money, because we could fill the vacancies. It's very simple. It's kind of like with Pierre's climate thing. You could just tax the rich. If you just filled the vacancies, the price of housing would go down and people's developer buddies wouldn't make as much money. We talked about Ford earlier. I want you to know he is the top donor to municipal campaigns. Him and Rob, they bought everyone. So that's what we have to do.
Yeah.
I'll see you in the parking lot afterwards.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
All right. My name is Pierre Terrien. I'm a retired authorized nuclear operator. I'm in Ward 11. I represent Ward 11, and my strategy is to offer you the solutions to your problems. If these solutions, engage the public, then I'm elected councillor. I will run for Liberal leadership, and I will attempt to unite the left. The NDP and the Green and the Liberal parties are three of the same ideology, and I would like to unite them, bring them together, and defeat Doug Ford in provincial politics. That's my goal.
Thank you so much. We wish we had more time for this one. But I would like to, at this point, on behalf of Y Media, I'd like to thank all of you for taking out time and joining us. Very interesting discussion, very interesting ideas, right from, welcome, right from transit to crime, how we can control the crime, to so many other issues. Thank you.
Have a Y on my name, too.
It's an honor to serve.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we wish we had more time, but we will carry on this discussion. And you keep watching us on channel Y and Y+. Just in case you have Rogers 857, Bell 828, TELUS 2418, and Ignite 707 on all your boxes. If you look at your box, you can search on your boxes for Y Plus and channel Y. We also are displaying the number for Y Media Contact. This is the phone number for Y Media Contact. Just in case you want to find out any details about Y Media, here's the number where you can get in touch with us. Thank you so much. Stay tuned with Y Media.
Hi, this is Priyanka Chopra and you are watching Channel Y.
The biggest South Asian media group, Y Media. Y Media.
Y Media Group, established in 2001, is a media company with a 360-degree approach in reaching our audience over 5 platforms: television, radio, newspaper, online news portal, and mobile app.
Y Media has newspaper, midweek, radio, South Asian Pulse.
Hi, I'm Amitabh Bachchan and you're listening to South Asian Pulse.
Hi, this is Amir Khan and you're listening to South Asian Pulse.
अब हर दिन सुने GTA का number 1 radio station FM 91.9.
All English 24/7 television network and Y Media Plus.
You are watching Channel Y. Channel Y.
Prime Minister, welcome.
It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be back.
Online, SouthAsianDaily.com, the biggest South Asian media group, Y Media.
ਅੱਜ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਇਆ ਕਮਰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਰਟੀਜ਼। ਅਗਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਰਟੀ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਕਮਰਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਰਟੀ 'ਚ ਹੱਥ ਪਾਉਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੋ, ਅਗਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਟਾਈਪ ਦੀ ਕੋਈ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਫਿਟੇਬਲ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਰਟੀ ਲਾਈਕ ਗੈਸ ਸਟੇਸ਼ਨਸ, ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਗੈਸ ਸਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈ, ਸਾਰੇ ਬ੍ਰਾਂਡ ਨੇਮ ਗੈਸ ਸਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਹੈਗੇ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਟਾਈਪ ਦੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਰਟੀ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਲਓ, ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਕਨਵੈਨਸ਼ਨ ਸੈਂਟਰ ਅਵੇਲੇਬਲ ਨੇ ਐਂਡ ਥੀਸ ਆਰ ਆਲ ਪ੍ਰੋਫਿਟੇਬਲ ਬਿਜ਼ਨਸ। ਇਹ ਸਾਡੀ ਗਾਰੰਟੀ ਹੈ, ਅਸੀਂ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਪ੍ਰਾਪਰਟੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦਵਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਉਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਫਿਟੇਬਲ ਹੋਏਗੀ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੰਪਰਕ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਮੇਰੇ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਟ ਸੈੱਲ ਨੰਬਰ ਤੇ 6473028589 647 302 8599 ਜਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਰੀ ਵੈਬਸਾਈਟ ਵੀ ਵਿਜ਼ਿਟ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ .com.
We asked some fans to sing our song. Here's what we got.
439, oh, 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 Pizza Nova. 439, oh, 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 Pizza Nova.
With every Pizza Nova,
you get real Italian pizza.
you'll get a friendly chow.
'Cause that's the way we'll
Greet ya.
So pick up the phone and call us. Pick up the phone and call us now.
Call Pizza Nova. Pick up the phone
and get a chow. 439, oh, 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 Pizza Nova.